All right, this is sort of a sad story, but a couple came to the Baal Shem Tov and they didn't have any children, and they wanted children desperately. And the Baal Shem Tov told them that it wasn't written that they would have children, but they pleaded and they begged. And the Baal Shem Tov said, all right, you'll have a child. They were very happy. And sure enough, after a few months, the woman got pregnant. And after 9 months, beautiful child. And the child lived for like 3 years or whatever. And on the child's third birthday, as he passed away, he died. So they came to the Baal Shem Tov and said, you know, what have you done to us? You know, why such a terrible tragedy? You know, you broke our hearts with a child. All right, would it have been better if you never had the child at all? Hard to say, you know, but nevertheless, the heartbreak was just so great. So the Baal Shem Tov said, I want to explain something to you. He said, once there was a king, and this king really wanted a son, didn't have a son. So one of his, he sent out his advisors, his policemen, whatever, and one of them kidnapped a Jewish boy, and he brought him to the king. And this Jewish boy was clever, intelligent, and the king knew how to, you know, bribe him and to soothe him. And, you know, he said, your parents died and they're terrible, I saved your life. And whatever it was, he made up a story that the boy eventually got used to it. And he lived in the king's palace, and the king gave him horses and to ride on. And, you know, he had swords and all the things that little boys, you know, are become hypnotized by and enamored. And he had all the jewels that he wanted to play, and he could play any games that he wanted, anything that he wanted. And but the child was very, very intelligent. He was a genius child. And in a very short amount of time, he went through all of his teachers. They taught him all the wisdom that they could and all of this and the whatever. So he was a whiz, he got mathematics and everything. So they brought him, the king didn't know exactly what to do, and the child was starting to get bored. And this is after he was by the king for like, you know, 2 years or whatever, so he was bored. So the king looked around and he found that there was this amazing professor. And in those days, the academics was in the hand of the church. So he found this bishop or whatever it was, that he was a monk, whatever, and he was just a genius in all fields of wisdom, of philosophy and mathematics and physics and medicine and music and everything. And he taught the child. The child loved it, loved it. And the child became an expert in playing violin and playing, you know, whatever it is, the you know, flute and composing and in mathematics and just. But this teacher, his teacher, he had one stipulation, and the stipulation is that 1 hour of the day he would lock himself in his room to meditate, and no one was allowed to interrupt him for any reason. No reason, not even the king himself could not go into the room. So it was a bit weird, you know, because it means that the king didn't have total rulership over everybody, but okay. So they let him do it because he was such a good teacher, and the child loved him so much. Anyway, the child, as inquisitive as he was, this is the story that Baal Shem Tov was telling. The child, as inquisitive as he was, one day decided that somehow or other he's going to steal himself into the room of his teacher, and he'll wait there. He'll wait in the room. Doesn't make any difference how long, and he wants to see what his teacher does in this time. And so, sure enough, he gets into the room. However he does it, he gets a key, goes to the window. However he does, and he hides under the bed. And he even has a way, he puts a false board over there or something like that. So even if the teacher looks under this, he won't see that, he won't sense that there's, he paints the board so it seems to be three-dimensional. Whatever he does, he hides under the bed, and the teacher goes into the room, locks all the doors, looks under the bed, investigates every corner, and then the boy hears this strange sort of a noise coming out and weeping and can't figure out what's going on. So the boy already had arranged some sort of an optic system where he could look out and see what's going on. And so he looks out and he sees that this teacher is sitting at this table with a box, some sort of black box on his head with straps and another black box on his arm. And he's sitting, going back and forth, and he's weeping. And he's singing this deep sort of, quiet, beautiful song. And he looks and he's just so amazed. He makes a little move. He forgets about it. The teacher immediately takes the tefillin and looks under the bed. What are you doing there? He said, I had to know what you're doing. I had to know. He said, that's it. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. No, please, my teacher. I love you so much. I'll do anything for you. I'm leaving. If you leave, I'm leaving with you. I'll go with you. They'll say that you kidnapped me. I'll find you. So the teacher doesn't know what to do. So the teacher says, listen, I'm going to tell you something, but don't tell anyone else. Do you promise? He says, yeah, I promise. For me, you're everything. Everything. Well, no one else means anything to me except for you. The teacher said, well, I want you to know I'm a Jew. I said, a Jew? I mean, we learned about that in the Bible. The Jews, they're despised by God. God rejected them. They rejected God. It says, not so. It's not so. It says that's what we have to say, because but you're an intelligent boy. I want you to know that I'm a Jew. And that this is what the Jews do. And not only that, I understand that you're Jewish also. I saw that you're circumcised, right? I saw in the bathhouse, whatever. I saw that you're circumcised. Non-Jews simply weren't circumcised back then. I saw you're circumcised. I see, and you see that you have a tremendous desire to learn about God. You're a Jew also. I says, wow, a Jew. I didn't know anything. I don't know what it means. I guess he got taken away from his family when he was 10 years old, whatever. Okay, anyway, the boy finds out that he's a Jew, and the teacher says, okay, if you want to, I'll teach you what to do to be a Jew. And he lets him put on his tefillin. I guess the boy's already 13 years old. And he puts on his tefillin, and he teaches him how to read Hebrew, and he teaches him He teaches him how to read Hebrew, and he teaches him to be a Jew, and this. And the boy eventually runs away. He says, I'm taking the boy, we're going to learn in Amsterdam or something like that. And he takes the boy away, and that's it. The boy runs away, and the teacher, he reverts back to being a Jew, and he sends the boy to some sort of a big rabbi, and the rabbi also teaches him to be a rabbi, and he's a great rabbi somewhere in wherever it is in Europe, and he becomes a big rabbi. Okay, but this boy passed away. He became a regular Jew, and he lived a long life, and he passed away. But the 3 years that he ate not kosher food made a blemish on his soul. The 3 years that he was by the king, that whole time the king gave him not kosher food to eat, and that made a blemish on his soul. So the boy had to come back into the world and get it fixed up. And when I saw how much you wanted the son and how much that soul wanted to come back into the world, so I made the connection, and that boy, that man that was kidnapped by the king, his soul was reincarnated into your son for 3 years. And that is why he passed away at a young age. I heard another version in the end that the Baal Shem Tov said, and because of the suffering that you had, now you really will have a son. But I don't know if that's really, as far as I know, the end of the story is that the soul was fixed up, and that was the reason for the whole incredible reincarnation and the tragic story. As we will continue, God willing, tomorrow, everyone, I hope to see everyone at 8:15 tomorrow morning. Have a good day with Mashiach.
Thank you.